This is Jack Moelmann, and today is the 5th of July, 2013. We're in Marietta, Georgia, for the 2013 American Theater Organ Society Convention. We're actually here at the Strand Theatre, beautiful theater. I thought we'd take this opportunity to meet once again with Ken Double, who also has many jobs to do, but one is being chairman of this particular convention, and we thought we'd deal with the subject of conventions in ATOS and see if we can offer a little insight. Why don't you start out, Ken, by telling our people what a convention is in ATOS, its purpose, and why we bother with them.
Indeed. Well, we bother with them first and foremost because the members like to get together and hear a lot of concerts and hear a lot of great music. But there is an important business side to the annual convention, and that is we must have an annual membership meeting as per our bylaws. And so legally we take care of that requirement. Generally speaking, our conventions have centered around the 4th of July time frame because people have vacation and holiday time and they can get away. And we've had them in every major city around the country over the past many years, where there is a group of theater organs that can be played and performed on, and the schedule usually runs 4 or 5 days, and we visit as many theaters or locations where there is a theater pipe organ, line up a whole bunch of the best players in the world, and enjoy a series of concerts over that day, and our meetings and our other things. And it's a wonderful way to get together and see people that we don't get to see but maybe once a year, and celebrate this music of the theater organ.
We have had conventions or meetings ever since ATOS was founded. In fact, we've even branched out and had regional conventions in the annual conventions usually held around July because we can get into hotels at a cheaper rate. The regionals are held in the fall. I think the biggest convention ever held in terms of attendance was in Chicago, and I can't quote the year, but some 1,100 and some people come.
It was 1979, I believe, Jack, in Chicago, if I remember the date correctly, and indeed, some 1,100 people. If you can imagine fighting Chicago traffic with a caravan of 21 buses to get people to these concerts at theaters downtown and out in the suburbs and everywhere else, that was an amazing convention.
It really was. And of course, this convention here centered around Atlanta, even though we're in Marrietta at the moment. We have 450 approximately. What is the biggest problem in hosting a convention? What do you have to do as a convention chairman or a chapter?
And I will say that Lee Lanier is kind of the co-chair of this, and I, as we worked through this, the number one concern is making sure that you have a good committee and a good group of volunteers who can tackle the different assignments that are necessary. Registration is an item that's very important. You want to get your people signed up, and when they arrive in the city at the hotel, you want to be able to get them their packet of information and their important ID badges that get them into the concerts and things like that. So you need a good group of volunteers that can handle registration, that can handle bus transportation, that can handle some of the other individual items that need attention. Don't have to have a lot. You can do it with as few as 12. 15 is better, 20 is even better, but as few as a good core group of 12 people can operate a convention.
One of the benefits, of course, of a convention is that the chapter putting it on gets some money out of it. I think the all-time high for a chapter's share in ATOS splits with them. At the time it was 50% for each. The all-time high was the San Francisco convention, where the chapter and ATOS each got something like $42,000. We haven't had anything like that since, but it's an opportunity for the chapter to get some money for their individual projects.
Indeed. You, for example, take a look at Central Indiana. They've hosted 5, and they're going to host next year's convention in 2014. And they have used convention proceeds not to just get this whole pile of money in the bank, but they've used it to help install instruments. And so Central Indiana has become a little bit of a headquarters in the Midwest for theater organ activity, because they've turned those convention revenues and proceeds into pipe organ installations, and they've been perhaps as successful as anyone. Here in Atlanta, our impetus was twofold. We had a project at Stevenson High School here near Stone Mountain that was somewhat languishing, and we needed to give it a little push to ensure that the organ would get finished and playable, and that we'd have the revenue to pay where we needed to pay for professional services. And so that was one reason we thought having the convention was important. The other was our membership needed a shot in the arm. We were meeting at homes privately, and it was time to do something that was exciting, a project that they could really sink their teeth into, and an opportunity to maybe spread the gospel around. And so we've increased membership, we've increased participation of our members, because the convention is begetting the Page pipe organ. We're going to have a new playpen to hold our meetings in, and so the benefits have been many, because 3 years ago, and that's how far in the past we opted to move forward on this. 3 years ago, we decided we wanted to host the American Theater Organ Society in 2013.
You almost have to decide that you want to host it at least 3 years in advance, because you have a lot of planning to do. We're very fortunate on the ATOS staff to have a guy named Mike Knirk, who's the convention planning coordinator for the national organization, if you will. And there was a manual written in 1985, because I was part of writing that manual, which is available for any chapter that may be thinking about it. They can read some of the procedures and some of the things, because there are standardized procedures that we use, otherwise everybody would be trying to reinvent the wheel. And that's available from ATOS and through Mike Knirk. I'd hate to say it, but a lot of what was written in the manual was what has gone wrong in the past with the convention. So we've lived and learned.
Indeed.
So,
and the beauty of Mike Knirk is he's a great handholder. He helps negotiate the hotel contracts, and the hotel contracts can be, shall we say, interesting. They've obviously been written by lawyers. So for the chapter side, it's good to have someone with experience with dealing with hotels, and Mike's terrific. He can also help with the bus company contract, because you've got to move these people from venue to venue. And indeed, because he's been in the position 15 years or more, he has seen the pitfalls and can help a local chapter avoid the don'ts and focus on the do's in terms of putting a convention together.
there's certain things I believe also, having attended conventions since 1983, I believe, that for the campers, the people attending, they want to see the lowest registration fee that they have to pay. They want to see headline artists. They want to hear organs that are in tune. They want transportation and a seamless operation. There may be problems that occur in the background, but as long as the campers don't see it and aren't aware of it, they're going to think the whole thing is wonderful, even though you and your crew, your committee may be having all sorts of frustrations. If you can make the thing somewhat transparent, everybody has a good time.
And fortunately, most of the conventions I've attended have been glitch-free. And you're right on the money there, Jack. Our folks aren't too worried about the details. They want to be able to get on a bus. If there's a box lunch, they want to be able to have their lunch, get to the venue, enjoy the concert, get on the bus, and either go back to the hotel or go on to the next venue for another concert. And when the conventions work smoothly, it really indeed works. And the main reason they're here is to enjoy this great music. And if you've presented great concerts for them, that's when they're happiest.
Like Ken said, conventions are normally 5 days with a pre-glow possibly and an afterglow, but I'll tell you, after 5 or 7 days, I don't want to hear another tibia.
Indeed, it's amazing the diehards that will exclaim, "I'm so sorry it's over," but I can tell you from now, my first organizing of a convention, that I'll be very happy when Sunday, July the 7th, as we take this, we'll have rolled around and I will have the opportunity to have the convention in the rearview mirror. At the same time, it's been so satisfying. It's going to be so good for the chapter. We've seen the benefits already. In terms of anyone out there who might be seeing this, Jack, that's involved with a local chapter, if they have the slightest inkling that maybe they'd like to host a convention, they should contact Mike Knirk or myself or you or anybody and at least raise the question, because there is so much to be accomplished in a positive manner for the local chapter that hosts the convention. It's almost too much to list.
And really, the people that are coming to your convention are coming there to see your town, see what you have to offer, plus mainly your instruments. So I live in St. Louis, for example, and we have the Fox Theater and another theater, and that's really not a place to go for a convention because it's too complicated, too costly, and there's some places that are easier to get to and have more to offer. So like you say, think about it, and how would you like to close this, Ken?
Well, again, encourage the chapters and let them know that ATOS is also there to help and support through Mike Knirk and all of the board of directors. And we can also let them know that upcoming conventions include Indianapolis in 2014. That will be July 4th to the 8th. In 2015, we're going to the Philadelphia-Wilmington area, and we'll hear the world's largest playing pipe organ at the Wanamaker-Nell Macy's department store in downtown Philadelphia, and the fabulous Kimball organ at the Dickinson High School in Wilmington, Delaware. And if the dominoes all fall in the right direction, our local chapter in Salt Lake City has expressed their interest in hosting in 2016. And so they're right on the money 3 years out in determining that they'd like to explore the possibility of bringing ATOS to a new part of the country. Haven't had one there, I think, since 1958 or 59, Jack, was the last time for Salt Lake City. So that could be a wonderful stop for ATOS.
And if you're wondering who to have play, look at this series of videos that we have with people talking and telling their life story and all that. So this is a little different kind of video that we put in rather than our biography type. But we thank you.
Been there, done that, Jack.
We thank you, Ken, for being here with this and for putting on this wonderful convention in Atlanta. So I think we'll close this down with Jack Moelmann, Marrietta, Georgia, at the Strand Theatre, July 5th, 2013. Thank you.